gonna start. Okay. Hey, welcome to the Death of a Dream podcast with your host, Hannah Ness. We have officially made it. It's official. It's so beyond official, and you're all here to enjoy it. So, today marks the 1 year anniversary of the Death of a Dream podcast, which just blows my mind. That's my great thing today. And my great thing isn't today, the 1 year. My great thing is 1 year ago. My great thing is pushing record, regardless of how ready I was, regardless of how sure I was, regardless of how anything. Just doing it. Had nothing, had no idea, had no vision of where we would go, what we would say, what we would do, just wanted to do it. And I had so many people telling me, no, wait. And 1 year ago today, I was brave. And all of the craziness that has happened since then, that really has evolved and come up and continued, right? All of that, all of those moves, all of those movements have been a result of that one. The 1 second, 1 year ago, that I published this podcast. And I wish that I could transport myself to that day and feel whatever I was feeling. And I know for a fact that I was feeling super insecure and crazy scared about what this would be and what it would become and who would listen and would anyone listen and what were we going to do anyways, right? And most people who talk to me about it would be like, what are you going to talk about? Right? And that could have been a great reason to stop. Guess what? Right? Because I didn't know. And that usually would be my response. I don't know. But I want to do it. And so, I'm going to. That's it. That is it. And you move forward as much as you possibly can in that moment. And you don't stop moving. You keep kicking. And you ebb and flow, right? Sometimes you can kick and you can move and you can swim as fast as you can. And when you get those moments, go. And then sometimes you gotta pull back and take it in and just be okay with being right where you are for a little bit of time. And then when you get the chance to go again, you kick and you swim like your life depends on it, because it does. And so my great thing today was my great thing 1 year ago. You are never going to know. You are never going to know what's possible if you don't just start, right? And this journey, the Death of a Dream journey, really started 6.5 years ago. But 1 year ago, I was the bravest that I probably have ever been in my life. And it was because I believed that this might change my life. And I didn't know, right? But I wasn't willing to sit and keep saying the things and keep thinking the thoughts, but not ever actually knowing. Right? And I'm so thankful because I know, probably a little over a year ago that I was impacted by a group of friends that I made at one of the conferences that I attended, and they were one of the driving forces towards publishing. But you won't know. You are never going to know. And now that we're even a year out, right, everybody's like, oh, wow, you've done these things. You have this podcast. Wow, that must be so cool. And it is, right? But today isn't the celebration. 1 year of doing a weekday, daily podcast, I'm not celebrating that. That's exciting, but that was just getting up and grinding. I am celebrating that I was brave enough to do it 1 year ago today. And so we get to venture into season 2, and I'm so excited to kind of round on that and talk on what season 2 is going to look like. Today's episode will wrap season 1. Wow! We have a season 1. We're going to a season 2. We're about to do it. We're about to do it. I don't know what it's going to look like either. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? That you can just be sitting somewhere, dreaming of this different life, and you can empower yourself to start taking steps towards it. Isn't that amazing? No one can stop you unless you let them. Period. And I had plenty of people try to stop me, like, Hannah, no, please don't. And people would very nicely send me some sort of learning on reasons to not start a podcast if you have no following, some sort of learning on reasons to not start a podcast if you don't know what you're doing, some sort of learning on the statistics of podcasts failing. And I didn't care, right? I listened and I learned, but I was just like, it's not about 5,000 people in my email list. It's about one person. It's about one person finding value in it, and using that to change their own life. The rest of you 5,000, that's great. But it's never been about that. If I could change one person's life with my work, then it would have all been worth it. And so I just couldn't let someone else dictate my life, because they don't know. They don't know what you're going through. Even if you tell them, they're still only listening to half of it. You know you better than anyone else. And if there's something that you want to do, go do it. Period. There is nothing else I can say to you. I have no doubt that you are capable of doing that thing. But you choose who you listen to. If I had listened to the people who are talking to me about doing a podcast, never would have happened. Never. Everybody. I even enlisted new professionals where I could find them. Right? I'm like, oh, take this course. Oh no, they're saying no too. Oh, reach out to this group in my area. Oh no, they're saying no too. Shoot. And we did it anyways. Because it's not about them. It's about you. It's about the work that you want to do. It's about you setting the measures for what success is. Nobody knows what success is to you. Everybody's sitting there telling me that I have to have all of these things and I have to have all these followers and all of these likes and all of this success, and that wasn't success to me. I didn't care. Right? You can tell me that all you want, but it would actually have to mean something to me to matter. And so I just stopped listening to people who didn't know me better than I knew myself. Right? And they would lovingly send me statistics about how podcasts fail and how no one listens to them and how impossible it is and why would you do this and how you don't have what you need, and I just couldn't listen. Because it wasn't true. Or maybe it was true, but maybe that's someone else's story. You're not writing my story. I am. I'm the person. So I'm going to be the one to put in the work, and I will take heed to all of the things that you sent me to stop me, but I will not stop. So my great thing, we're going to wrap that great thing. We kind of got on a high horse here. My great thing really is being brave 1 year ago today. I remember my hand shaking as I pushed publish. And then I remember going back. And I remember not knowing anything about analytics at that point for podcasts, but like checking back. And I didn't even really know how to check it. And I didn't know any of the things that I know now. And I just remember hoping that it would just happen so that all those people weren't so scared and sad for me. Like, I wasn't scared or sad or worried at all. Because I just knew that this was going to be the thing for me. And I was going to keep going regardless of 1, 100, right? 2, I didn't care. Because this is what I want to do. So, that's my great thing. Make sure that you take time for yourself to reflect and collect your own great things, right? And bring those out into this world and start thinking those things through, because that one action will change your life. So, season 2, where are we headed? Boy, has season 1, let's just recount on season 1 and how ridiculous it got. Okay? I mean, in an attempt to find a voice, in an attempt to keep things interesting, because some of my early on kind of haters would say things like, you kind of just repeat yourself and you really don't have, you're really gone crazy, right? And so I would listen to those things and make adjustments as best as I could, without changing who I wanted to be and what I was here to do. But like, that's kind of just it. You know, those people can only be given power if you let them. Right? And for me, it was like, I hear what you're saying and I so value it. But I'm figuring this out. I don't know. And I didn't start the podcast thinking that I knew what I was doing and where we were headed. And I'm sure I had bouts of confidence where I was certain that this is where we were going to head and this is what we were going to do. And I've only really felt like I discovered that over the last 2 weeks or so. I've been given that. And I've heard that a lot, that you don't receive the whole piece of work at once generally. It's given to you in pieces. And that's not to say that you won't sit down and write the entire book at one time. That's to say you've been given pieces of that story throughout your life. And so it comes in pieces. You probably don't have the bandwidth to handle the whole thing. That's why you connect the dots looking back, right? If you were told when you're sitting at your desk job that in 4 years you would go travel the world and blog and speak and write and do those things, but it's going to take 4 years, you would constantly be trying to transition to that space. You'd be trying to work on that. You'd be forcing things that don't need to exist yet because it's all going to play out the way it's supposed to. Right? And where we're headed now that we have more pieces, really is in this thought process that, around this kind of obsession that I have with this constant question of like, did you decide? Did you decide your life? Or was it just handed to you? And I think so much of that indecision comes from middle class, which if I'm a professional at anything, it's that, right? And there's just this constant narrative of impossibility around you. And like, you can level up, but you're probably going to get 2 or 3 levels above where your parents were, and then like just ride it out to the sunset, right? And I literally had these thoughts over the last 10 years. Like, okay, we're good, right? I have the babies. Now we just chill, right? Now we just hang out until they're old enough and we can see if we did it right by them. And they went and lived the dream. And I was surrounded by so many people that was exactly how their life played out. That it was like, whoa. Generation after generation of people who were gonna be that person and then came up short. So then threw in the towel. Threw it in. Done. And what blows my mind more about this is that it keeps happening. And I willingly was like, oh, well, shoot, okay, you're right. You know what? Good call. There's a reason, right? And in similar to the podcast where like my elders would be like, no, Hannah, you can't just do what you want. And I'd be like, no, but I think that you just can't. No, you can't just like do what you want. There isn't really, you can't. So you're just confused. So like, you can't. Oh, okay. Well, can you just, okay. Right. And this is like people instantly perplexed with like what I'm saying. No. So this is what I want to do. And it looks like this, and this. And I think I'm going to do that. And what I just said to you, those were the conversations. Like, no, but you don't have No, I think you're confused. I didn't say it was what you were going to do. So you don't have to be scared for yourself and for me. I said this is what I'm going to do. Period. It does not impact you. If this is not what you want to do, that's okay. And you can be a little bit nervous for me because I realize that maybe we've gone a little crazy, but I've just decided that I get to decide from here on out. That the fact that I have children doesn't decide, that the fact that I have a husband and a home, that those things don't decide the entirety of my fate. The fact that I did or didn't live out the first dream that I had, that doesn't decide my fate here, right? And so this season 2, I really envision us going down this path of what it looks like, real time, what it looks like to start showing up in that world. And what I'm hoping to show all of you is that commitment to yourself, to your dreams, to your goals. And I can't tell you what the timeline's going to look like for you. And I wish that I could tell you what my time looks like for me, what my timeline is going to be. But what I'm hoping to play out to you is what it looks like now to go. And this is such perfect timing, but I just always envisioned myself with a suitcase packed and ready to go, and me just kind of working and writing and taking in my surroundings and being in different places because I love the challenge of newness. Like, if anything suffocated me in my life, it was the fact that I had to drive the same way to my job every day. Ugh, like I would drive different ways all the time. And what I'm really hoping that we get to is a view into what it looks like now. And if you've been following this whole time, you know what it used to look like, right? You know where we came from, and that's the beauty of it. You don't just dream today and tomorrow it all comes true. You dream today. My dream was 5 years ago. I could see myself, and I had seen it my whole life, but 5 years ago I was just like, no, this is what you want, and that is going to mean you have to show up different, sister. And when I would see those visions, I would be just ransacked with these impossibilities that piled up so high to the ceiling that they would stop me every time. And I would sometimes gear up enough energy and then I'd wheel myself back down. And that's what this last year has been. Breaking through those barriers, breaking through those limiting beliefs, overcoming that middle class mindset, and truly getting to this new space. And so season 2 really is about that transition and this walk into what your dream life might look like. And so I'm on a vacation right now, and I'm actually podcasting in a parking lot overlooking the Black Hills, and 2 deer, and I tried not to freak out because it scared me a little bit. 2 deer, and they kind of look like mule deer. I'm not a hunter or anything, but 2 mule deer just walked kind of right in front of me, and this is it. And this is just the beginning, right? This is just the start, but this is such a beautiful place to move into season 2 in, because that's what this next journey is going to be. The first season really is about the real time, overcoming those limits, overcoming all of that impossibility. And season 2 is what it looks like to start walking that path, to start following that thing, and you'll get to journey on that with me, right? Maybe we get a book deal. Maybe we don't. Maybe we get to do a sponsored podcast. Maybe we don't. Maybe the blog starts getting hits. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know, but you're going to get to walk through that with me. And I think more importantly, the reason that this body of work exists is so that you can, not that these are things that you want to do, right? But maybe you want to take that next level job. Maybe you want to go get that next degree. Maybe you want to start focusing on your fitness. Maybe you want to do all of those things. This is in real time how you change your life and how you start showing up for those things and the things that come up when you do. Right? And now in real time of like, okay, we made it, or we're closer. Oh my gosh, we are many seasons away from making it. And in fact, I hope that I never truly make it, because making it sometimes feels like you stop trying. And I've seen that firsthand, right? Making it makes you feel like you did something and like you can stop. And I don't ever want to stop doing this work. So season 2 is just about how you start walking that path. Now that we've overcome all of this, now that we've gotten there, right? Now that we've gone to the gym, now that we started to see change, now that we're kind of there, how do we keep going? Because now the even harder work comes, because now bigger failures come that you didn't even expect, that you really felt like, man, we were here, we were doing good. What? Wait a second, right? And I want you to keep waking up, and I want you to keep going, and I want you to keep working out even if you've plateaued, and I want you to keep striving for new goals and new heights and new levels. And that's where season 2 is taking us, right? How do we level up from here? We're over the things. We've found a new stride. We are feeling alive in this work and in this life. How do we keep going? How do we not exhaust ourselves but excite ourselves? How do we champion and move forward in the work of our lives? That's what season 2 is. And I'm so excited for all of you to be here. And I'm so excited to hopefully transition and become kind of this voice of the middle class of like, no, we're here. We can do this. We can champion this. We don't have to sit back and just accept it and let the next generation try to break free. You still count. It is not too late. You earned the right to live your life according to you the day you were born. And the unfortunate thing is, the day you were born into middle class was also the day that you were told you didn't have that right. Or that's my fear, right? And it wasn't even that people blatantly told you. I actually had parents who said, no, seriously, you can do anything. Go do anything. Don't stop yourself. My parents were wonderful at that. But I didn't see anybody doing it if it did happen. And second off, I had people outside of my parents telling me it wasn't possible. And that's being surrounded by middle class. And that's the impact. That's the hit we've all taken, being born into this world. So, it's season 2 time. Monday will be our first episode of season 2. I'm so thankful for all of you here in season 1. You have no idea how much you inspire and push me to higher heights, and how amazing it is to hear from all of you and see you. If you're on my email list, I am sending out a thank you letter today and just a little bit of love to carry us all through. So, as always, you're smart, You're strong. You're beautiful. What are you going to do? Change the world. We just got to record the intro, but I'm going to stop.